Hey, you guys. So I'm going to be doing a training in this video on recruiting at your parties, or kind of having a recruiting mindset when you do your parties. This information, you can apply it to both in-person parties and Facebook parties. So I kind of have some notes here so I don't forget anything, but we'll just kind of get started. And the first thing when it comes to recruiting, you want to have a mindset of recruiting. And so mindset is really what stops us. And I actually have this quote I want to read to you really quick that I absolutely loved. Your mindset, not your skill set, is what is going to hold you back. So when you have this mindset of recruiting, especially at your nail bars or your nail parties, whether they're online or in person, when you have this mindset, it's going to change things. So a lot of times our mindset is what stops us from recruiting. So for example, we have this perception of, I don't want to be pushy, or we have a fear of hearing the word no. And, we get nervous, we have fears. And so then we don't want to recruit. But really, we have to kind of change our perception. One really, really great quote is by Zig Ziglar. He says, you can get anything you want if you just help enough people get what they want. And so when you look at sponsoring as simply sharing something that you really believe in with someone who's going to benefit from it, it kind of starts to change things. So when you're focusing on them versus focusing on you, like you getting a rank advancement, you hitting your sales goals, you. One of our team mottos is we rise by lifting others. And so when you focus on them and your job as offering it and their job is to accept or decline, and you make the offer appealing and focus on them, people are going to start joining you. Another great quote is, we would all be successful except for the fear of rejection. And so it is kind of hard, when you're sitting there thinking like, oh, they're going to reject me, they're going to say no. Think about it this way. Like when you go to a restaurant and they ask you, like, do you want fries with that? Or do you want to upsell to this? And you say no, like they don't go and cry about it, right? They offer it, and your job is to accept or decline the offer. And they don't get like emotionally hurt over it. And so if you can just kind of take out the emotion from, what you're offering, and just realize people join the business for different reasons. It's for some people, it's not for others. And so just have that, you need to make that mindset switch of, like get over the fear of hearing no. And in fact, there's a great book, if you haven't read it yet, it's called Go for No. Go get it on Amazon, read it right now. And then think about, like you don't want to be pushy. Well, don't be pushy. You're simply just sharing something that you really believe in, okay? And you're going to share it with someone who's going to benefit from it. And people who are going to benefit from it are going to take it and run with it if it's something that's for them. So I want to back up before we get into the party aspect of it. I do want to chat just a little bit about social media, and especially for those who are growing their businesses online. One thing that you can do, to really create an enrolling mindset is to, first of all, do some attraction marketing. That's one way to call it. It doesn't have to be attraction marketing. It can be influencer marketing. Really what it is it's really finding your mission, and then, that's separate from the product. Like, how can you help others? And then posting valuable content, free value. So like, I want you to kind of think and make a list of like, how can I help other people? And just start delivering that stuff through your social media. Your posts need to be valuable, okay? And so one of these great quotes that'll get you thinking, when people see Polygage, or when people think of Polygage, you want them to think of your brand. So insert your name there. When people see your name, you want them to think of your brand. But when people see your company, you want them to think of you, okay? So, that is something to kind of get your brain going. So especially when you're doing these parties and making connections and building relationships, you want to be building these relationships with people. So that way they start to see your brand. And then when they realize that they need more of your product, they're going to come to you. Okay. So, and you do this through breadcrumbing yourself on social media. So, you want to be someone that people are going to want to follow on social media. So, when there's other trainings we've done on coming up with your 5 favorite things, and cling to who you are and stop comparing yourself to other people, but just be you on social media. Because I tell you what, there are other people out there like you who are looking for what you have to offer. Okay. So, and that totally goes into play when you have your party. So I know that we have these templates for you to use, but what you need to do with these templates is take them and turn them into you. Put your own spin on it. Put your wording into it. Don't just copy and paste, because that's what everybody else does, and it becomes really spammy. Do not be a copy-paste network marketer, okay? Like, take the templates that we've given you and use them as a template. Make your own graphics, put your own spin on the wording, turn it into you and your sound and your voice. And that way, when you're sharing stuff, it is something that people will resonate with. And it's not just something that they've heard before. Okay, so back to recruiting at parties. So when you are having your nail bars, there's actually some things that you can do to move people into an interested level of the business. And the first thing you want to do is be building rapport. So if you have an in-home nail bar, things that you want to do when people start walking in those doors is you go up and introduce yourself and get to know them. Because what happens is when you build rapport, you take it, it's kind of like a little system or a funnel they go through, right? So you start with rapport, which turns into a relationship, which turns into them trusting you, which turns into you having influence. Okay. So rapport, relationship, trust, influence. And so if you're in person, what you can do, this starts by greeting guests by names, introducing yourself, getting them a name tag, and really saying their name a few times so it gets in your head. When people say, oh, I'm so bad with names, like, you just need to learn to not be bad with names and start to get to know people. And one thing you can do is say their names several times in your interaction. When you start saying stuff out loud, you start to remember it. So say their name several times. Ask them questions like, so what do you do? Tell me about your day. Start having conversation and creating small talk with them, so that way you can get to know them, visit with them, and comment with them before the party actually starts. And then in terms of an online nail bar, you can actually do the same thing. You can personally message the people who have RSVP'd going and who are coming and just say, hey, I just wanted to really quickly introduce myself. My name's Polly. I'd love to learn a little bit more about you. What do you do? Or, you start the conversation, and, if you've got their sample in the mail, like, let them know, hey, I've got your sample in the mail. I wanted to introduce myself. Like, start the conversation online and be like, I wish I could meet you in person, but online is going to have to suffice because we're so busy. Just actually get the conversation going, via personal message. And also, when people are commenting on your posts in the party, comment back by name, ask them a question, get conversation going, get them, a lot of times what will happen is they'll go to your Facebook profile. And this is where that previous seeding of attraction marketing comes in, where you can, they'll come to your profile and start kind of stalking you. That's what happens with social media. We all do it. We go and we stalk people. And so people come to your profile, and you want your profile to be like a soft place to land. They'll come and be like, oh yeah, I could totally see, like, this girl would be a great mentor for me. And, or yeah, I really love this girl's style. I totally want to, like, she's my nail girl. Like, that's who you want to come. That's who you want to become for people. So, during your presentation, in a live home nail bar, compliment other people, talk to them or call them by name, ask for suggestions. And online, this looks like, if somebody does a post or asks a question, compliment them, an intro post, compliment them, tag them and ask them questions. Ask, like, what do you think about this? Or you could do like a suggestion post. And then after you do your presentation in a live nail bar, you want to, like stay and hang out with the guests and not just like leave and like let them shop. You want to kind of be there, offer suggestions, and, it looks a little bit differently in the online nail bar, but, I'm just kind of talking about how you can do it in both, because you can definitely do things at nail bars. So first of all, just building that rapport, because when you're recruiting people want to connect with you. A lot of times people are really picky and choose their upline. And so, they don't just go with the person that introduces them to it. So definitely start building that rapport and that relationship, so that way they want to work with you. Okay, so when you're actually doing like your little presentation, if you're in person in nail bars, that's something you definitely want to be doing, is stopping, getting people's attention, and talking to them about, giving them your little presentation of what Color Street is, having them try samples on. But what you need to do is start with the opportunity and mention the opportunity at least 5 different times during your opportunity. And it can be just really casual. So there's an opening in your presentation that I will talk about and kind of give you some wording to use, and then the middle. And then you also want to give your 30-second why story. And I'll give you an example of what that looks like as well. And, basically what you're sharing in your 30-second why story, people call this the elevator speech. This would be something that if you were in the elevator with someone and they, you struck up a conversation, it's something that you could give in an elevator ride. Okay. Really, really quickly, 30 to 40 seconds. And so what you're going to be chatting about in that 30-second why story is what attracted you to the business, what you were nervous about before you got started, how your life is better now, and what you love most about the business today. So I'll repeat those. What attracted you to the business? What were you nervous about before you started? How is your life better? And what you love most about the business today. So this, this is something, so like if you're in person, this is what you're going to be saying, like in person at your nail bars. If you're online, you can go live and talk about this. And I cannot stress the importance of going live. So what's really great about this party method specifically is talking about, one really great strategy is doing several parties at once by doing a mega party. And the party template that I have for this specific recruiting party template, and of course you can totally put your own spin on it, but what I've done with this specific party template is bingo. So it's a bingo mega party. And so what happens is you can get, you can do this with just one host, but you can get like 2, 3, 4 hostesses, even more. And they all invite their friends, and you do a big party, do it all at once, several hostesses all at once. And so then you're doing multiple parties in one party, and then you have more time to really give the party the attention it needs instead of doing all these posts at once. Okay, this is how several stylists are doing several parties a week, okay, because they're doing it all in one big party, a mega party, where you can throw all the hostesses into one group chat and do the hostess coaching in one group chat. And so here's what you can talk about. Now, there's a template in our file section in our team Facebook group. You're welcome to just go into that template, pull it up, and there's also some script in there. But when you are recruiting, you want to think, how do I move somebody from no to yes? There's lots of people who are always out there thinking, I need a side hustle. I'd love to make some more money at home. So how do you move them from a no to a yes during your party? So when you are opening up your Facebook, I recommend going live a couple times. One, you just go live to introduce yourself because you're not there in person. And live video is so great because they see you. They see what you look like. They see what you sound like. They see your mannerisms. And you can, of course it's nerve-wracking to go live, but just do it because that relationship, when you have someone join your team, like you're going to have a relationship with them. And so you might and your customers, you're going to have a relationship with them. And it's not just online. We're not just online dating here, right? You want to meet them. And so think about it being a real relationship, and going live is a great way for people to see you. see what you look like. So you just have to go get past that fear. If you haven't read Mel Robbins' 5-second rule, read it. It will help you. You just count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go, and you press the live button and you get started. And no matter how nervous you are, I was so nervous the first time I went live. You just keep trying. You just keep going. So when you are doing your presentation or going live, in your opening, what you want to do is say things like, okay, ladies, I just wanted to come on, introduce myself. My name is Polly Gage, and I'm going to be your stylist for this party. Right off the bat, I just want to make sure that you know that this party is going to be fun, fast, and easy for everybody, you and me. And so feel free to watch what I do during this event and see how easy it is. It actually might be something that could be a way for you to make a little extra income. So, and then dive into your presentation of, you can introduce yourself a little bit. You could, do a demo of a sample. You could chat about ways to win during the party, what bingo looks like, what the rules are, that sort of thing. And then in the middle of that, you want to do your 30 to 40 second why story, your elevator pitch. And, so like for me, for example, it's, when I first got started with Color Street, it was to pay for extras because we had a really large debt payment every month and we couldn't afford extra things like ballet lessons or swim lessons or, weekend getaways. And so I was really nervous about being able to book parties because I kind of, was anti-direct sales and I didn't want to be spammy. And so I was determined to figure out how to do things a little bit differently. So fast forward a few months, I not only had enough money to pay for those ballet and swim lessons, but I had also earned enough money to pay for my entire family to go to a pretty pricey family reunion that was planned the next summer. I paid for the food, the lodging, and the airfare, and I still had 8 parties booked on my calendar. So obviously that wasn't going to be a big problem. Not only that, but now I've made enough money to pay for family vacations. I've been able to treat my family to extras. I've been able to go visit my sister who lives in Switzerland. I've been able to pay for, extras for my kids, like extra trips to Chick-fil-A every month and the zoo and the aquarium. And I've also been able to do things like buy myself extra outfits or treat myself to a pedicure without feeling that guilt that comes along with it. But that's not even what I love most about my business today. What I love most today is the people, the customers and hostesses who have become really good friends and stylists who, have become like sisters. And, of course, the other leaders who I work with that have really taught me how to be successful in this business. So when you say a little pitch like that, a little story like that, it really appeals to everybody because it overcomes fears and it speaks to so many different people, right? If you're just speaking to the stay-at-home moms, like if you got started with a story like that and said, I got started with Color Street to get out of the house because my kids are little and I just needed adult conversation, that's not going to connect with everybody, But if you can, in your elevator pitch, like address several things like I did in that little pitch, it speaks to so many. And then, you can finish up. And in the template, it kind of gives you bullet points on what to do there. So the next really great thing that you can do online or in person is do a couple games that are, we do these games in our parties. One you can do is a question answer game. And so what you can do is post a graphic that's like question and answer game. And for an entry to win, full set or something, you can just say, so we're going to play a really fun game right now. This is your chance to ask me anything you want about the business. And what you want to do is give them starter questions in that post. So you can say something like, you can ask me how much it costs to get started. Where do I get my bookings from? How much could I earn if I held 2 nail bars a week, which is about 4 to 5 hours of my time. And then they can ask questions in the comments. So what that does is people are always snooping posts, right? They'll see the questions, they'll see the answers. So that's one game that you definitely want to do. And then another game that you want to do is the $1,000 game. So the game, you could just say for $1,000, or if you had $1,000 extra a month, what would you do with it? Respond with a GIF or comment below, those sort of things. So those can be a couple games that you play. And then, of course, for the bingo night, I go live. And then during bingo, I will draw a number and then give a little spiel. So I make sure that bingo doesn't take more than 30 minutes. And I will do, so I'll like pull a number and then I'll talk about how you can place your order. You know, pull a number and then I'll also talk about hostessing, you know, like getting hostesses for the next party if anybody else wants to do this. And for, you know, I'll draw a number and then talk about, you know, if anybody really, you know, like, you can say something like, you know, I hope I gave you guys some food for thought during this week about the business. You know, I really know that every person in this room could give Color Street a try for a few weeks and see if you like it. You know, what's the worst that could happen? You'll love it. You know, you'll have a thriving business. You'll be making some money. You're having fun. And if you hate it, you can just quit. It's that simple, really. But you have to keep all the product that came in your kit and all the friends that you made along the way. So, you know, if you're interested, join our team info group and get some more information, or personal message me and let's chat. So just when you're drawing numbers, like just do a few sentences in between each number so it's not dragging on forever and you're getting through the numbers, okay? But that's what's really great about the bingo thing is it's live. People have to be there to see if they win the free set. And then you can be spilling in extra stuff. You can even do a little quick sample demo, things like that. And then after it's over, one thing that I am starting to do is doing a little poll in the group. So I also do like a post about joining my VIP group and a post about joining the info group. But I'm also doing a poll. And so you can do a questionnaire like in person. You can actually do a questionnaire for people, or you can do a poll as a Facebook post and ask 3 questions. The question would be, I want to be notified about new product and specials and launches or exclusive nail strips. And then another one will be, I'm interested in hosting my own party or co-hosting my own bingo mega party. And then another question will be, if my hostess were to become a stylist, I would be interested in hosting a party for her. And so they can check that off. Okay. So that's something else that your hostesses will see, like, oh, and then that's something else that you can bring to your hostesses after at the end when you're offering the opportunity, because you definitely want to offer the opportunity to your hostesses and just say, you know, hey, I don't know if you saw this, but your party made this much money and you could have made this much commission, and you have people who would like host parties for you. So, you know, something that, like, you'd be really great at this is something you want to give a try. So these are just some tips that you can use when trying to recruit at parties. Let's see. Also, really be yourself when you're going live. You know, again, you don't want to like try and copy other people. Just be yourself. And then the other thing is you don't want to give out too much information. You know, a confused mind just says no. So make sure you're not giving out too much information. And also you can give out third-party information. So if someone is interested, we've got these great opportunity brochures. You can mail them. Because remember, you don't want to do things that are too complicated, because you've got to make it look duplicable. That means when someone, you know, what's really great about this business model is that it can be duplicated. And if you're making it look too complicated, then people are going to be like, oh, it's too complicated, I can do it. You've got to make it look simple, because it really is simple. So you've got to just keep it simple. So, okay, I think that's all I've got for this. Another thing is to just really be excited about it, because when you're excited, it gets really contagious. And then just have fun and be consistent. So that's what I've got for this. Have any questions, of course, just let me know. And hopefully this is helpful and you can implement this into your parties. Again, the template for this is in the files of our team Facebook group. So go ahead over there and we'll see you later. Bye.